Us humans, like Homo sapiens, we were made around the same time that all these other Neanderthal and Cro-Magnons were made. It's just that we lived longer, they became extinct.
I have no idea, honestly,
So I mean,
when in the time gap between when animals created, the Bible doesn't reveal that. Again,
So we made after them? Like, did he start off making, okay, I'm going to make a prototype human. And then, okay, that didn't really work out, so I'm going to make a better one. And, okay, that really didn't work either.
No.
And then he made us. It didn't work out that way?
well, the Bible doesn't reveal that God created prototypes. It says, in the beginning, God created. The point of Genesis is that God created, that we're not cosmic accidents, right? That in the beginning, God, not in the beginning, hydrogen. So the key piece of that, in the first verse of the first book of the Bible is one of my favorite scriptures. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, because it tells us who created, and which answers a ton of questions. That we're not cosmic accidents, that we are created by a living God for a purpose. And those are the deeper, more meaningful questions of life, is who created me, for what purpose am I created, how should I live my life ethically, and is there life after death? Is far more important in what process did God use scientifically to create us. And so I always urge people, don't get so hung up on the process God used, because there's deeper, more meaningful questions. What's my purpose? Why am I here? Who created me? Am I a cosmic accident? Think about the ethical ramifications of atheism. If there is no God, we are all reduced to nothing more than material. So you and I are no more valuable than a pebble on the ground or a branch that falls off a tree, because we're all just cosmic accidents and we have no innate purpose or value. We have no intrinsic value because we're simply material. You take God out of the equation and it changes, it's a radical shift in worldview. But if God did create us for a purpose, that means that we all have innate dignity and value because we're created in His image. And when we say we're created in the image of God, it doesn't mean God has a torso and 2 arms and 2 legs. It means we possess some of God's qualities to a lesser extent, meaning we have rational minds, God can think rationally, meaning we have the capacity to love, God has the capacity to love, meaning we have free will, God has free will. So we possess some of His qualities to a lesser extent. But you take God out of the equation, and there's no more absolute basis for morality, there's no more innate dignity or value in a human being's life. When we die, we rot and become fertilizer. Any hope for afterlife is gone. And life becomes very dark very quickly when you take God out of the equation. And I've never met an atheist in my life, personally. I've read some books of atheists, but I've never personally met an atheist who can logically live out the ramifications of atheism, which means you're a cosmic accident. It doesn't matter whether you slit somebody's throat or where you feed them money, give them money to help them, get a next meal. It doesn't matter if you're Adolf Hitler II or Mother Teresa II. In the atheistic worldview, there's no absolute basis for morality, and nobody has any innate dignity or value or purpose. And that is a very, very dark worldview. Therefore, no one I've met can live that out logically. Atheism is extremely difficult. What I typically find is an atheist borrowing the goody-goodies of the Christian worldview, saying, no, that is really wrong, and I really do have value, but there's no God. That is so intellectually dishonest, it's not even funny. If there is no God, we're all random accidents. We're a random collocation of atoms. Hunks of primordial slime evolved to a higher order. Walk into a hospital bed and visit a sick person. Tough luck, your mama didn't read her horoscope today. You're just a hunk of primordial slime evolved to a higher order. The ball didn't bounce your way today. But as a Christian, you can walk into somebody who's dying in the hospital and you can approach them as somebody who has innate dignity and value because they're created in God's image, and you can give them hope that even though they're suffering in this life, God promises an eternal life where there'll be no more suffering, there'll be no more tears, there'll be no more death or pain, and there's hope for tomorrow. That's why Jesus is so attractive.
Okay.
Does that help?
It's definitely something to chew on for a while.